Good morning, councillors.
Morning, Speaker.
I'm just going to do a roll call to see if everyone is here yet. Okay, Councillor. Councillor Kraut, are you there? Councillor Davis?
Mr. Speaker, I am here. I had a technical glitch.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councillor Davis. Councillor Quinana, I have made an apology. He said he's at the clinic, but he will join us later on if he is back. But if he's not, then we will have to accept his apology for this meeting. Are you aware of that, Councillor Davis?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I'm aware of that. I was informed that you are correct.
Thank you. Councillor Matika? Councillor Matiwana? Councillor Naki? Councillor Nezu? Councillor Opperman? Councillor Opperman?
I'm here.
Thank you,
Good morning,
Councillor
all.
Opperman.
I'm here.
Thank you, I can see you. Councillor Salase? Councillor Salase?
Yebo, Speaker, I am here.
Thank you. Councillor Skosana? Councillor Skosana? Thank you, Councillor Skosana. I can see you. Councillor Strubel?
Good morning, Speaker. I'm here. Can you see me?
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Strubel.
Yeah.
Councillor Tsengwa? Councillor Tsengwa? Councillor Tsengwa? Councillor Chokolo? Councillor Chokolo? Councillor Ace?
Yes, Speaker, I'm here. Can you see me?
Thank you, Councillor Ace.
Thank you.
Councillor van Aswegen? Mayor?
Speaker, I'm on board. Good morning.
Thank you. Councillor Wasserman?
Speaker, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wasserman. Councillor Weideman?
I'm here. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Weideman. Councillor Wolmerans?
Ora, Speaker, ek is teenwoordig.
Thank you. Councillor Kraus?
Yes, Speaker. Speaker, Mama Naki's got a little bit of issues logging in, and I think the other one that is struggling is Matiwani. Matiwani is here.
Councillor Matika?
I'm here, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Nezu, I can see you. Can you just put on your mic?
I'm here, Speaker. You hear me?
Thank you. Councillor Naki and Councillor Matiwana, I'm still waiting for you. And Councillor Chokolo.
Speaker, the Councillor Naki and Matiwani is struggling to connect. I think they'll connect as soon as they can.
Councillor Tsengwa and Councillor Chokolo.
Speaker, can you hear me, Speaker? Speaker?
Yes, I can't see you, dear. Yes.
Yeah, Speaker, I'm just struggling to get my okay, Speaker. Speaker, can you see me?
Yes, dear. I can see.
Can you see me?
I can't see you. Yeah, I can see you now.
Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker.
Yes, Councillor Matiwana, I can see you.
Councillor Matiwana, can you see me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm available.
Councillor
Thank
Naki.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Councillor Davis.
Yes, Councillor Chokolo is having a bit of technical challenges. He is in the committee room there, but he's trying to get someone to perhaps assist him there with the connection. So he's struggling to get through. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Naki. Is Councillor Naki not connected yet? Councillor Naki? Okay, I think I have to come back to Councillor Naki and Councillor Chokolo. MM, are you available? Can you just indicate who of the directors are here? MM?
Speaker, I am here. The Director Planning and Development is participating in a disciplinary hearing, so she might not be here, and if she is not here, I must make an apology for her. It means that she's still detained in that hearing. And the rest of the directors should be here. The Director Corporate Services is with the doctors at the moment. I don't know if she's back yet. She can just indicate as well as if she is back.
Thank you, MM.
I am back, Speaker. I'm back.
Director Community Services present, Speaker.
Thank you, Director Community Service. Corporate, thank you, Corporate. Praveen, I can see you.
Speaker. Yes, present. Thank you.
Is the interpreter on yet? Councillor Matika, I see your hand is up. Can we check if the interpreter is connected yet?
Speaker? Speaker?
Yes, I can see.
Yes, Speaker, I'm connected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Speaker, I'm connected.
Is
Speaker?
the Manager of Legal Service connected?
I am here, Speaker.
Thank you. Is the Manager of Communication here?
Diva is in, Speaker, in acting capacity.
MM, can we check if who from communication are on?
Speaker Diba is here.
Diba, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Speaker.
Speaker,
I think
order committee.
Speaker. Councillor Chokolo, are you on?
Better manqaba Speaker.
Councillor Chokolo? Councillor Matika, I see your hand is up.
Speaker, we are trying to assist Councillor Takolo with connecting at the moment.
Okay. Councillor Matika, I see your hand is up.
Okay, Speaker, sorry, man. I wanted to check if the meeting is public. Because I was trying to call Graham for the link, but it's voicemail saying that he's no longer with us for the link, for the public link. So I'm just wanted to check, is it public? Sorry?
Acting MM?
In Kaulan.
Speaker, this is the public part of the meeting. There is a portion where the meeting will go into committee. Graham Hardy has left our employee. He finished working on the 30th of June. So he's not in our employ anymore. I would just like to ask one of our colleagues from corporate services whether the meeting is public as it should be.
Director Corporate? Director Corporate? Acting MM, can we find out who's acting in that department, because usually Graham is part of the meeting.
The Zell Plaque is acting. Just allow me to meeting. Lizelle, can you speak? Thank you.
Lizelle.
Good morning, Speaker and Acting MM. Admission is currently with Councillor Takolo, and I have spoken to Councillor Naki. So we are assisting them both. I spoke to Jill yesterday, and she will handle the in-committee Teams meeting. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Councillor Chokolo.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. No, I just wanted to note you that I'm back, Speaker. I have my apologies here. I don't know what's happening with the connection.
Lizelle? Lizelle?
Yes, Speaker.
The question was, is the meeting open for the public? Is there a link?
Yes, there is a YouTube link. It has been sent to communications.
Speaker, do you mind if I speak to you on that?
Yes, Acting MM?
I just received confirmation from Jill that the meeting is public, Speaker.
Thank you, Acting MM. Thank you, councillors. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Acting MM. Good morning to all the directors, all the managers that's part of this meeting this morning. We are now on point number 2.1. Point 2, we're going to have a few seconds of silent prayer. Thank you. Point number 3, attendance of members. Deputy Mayor, see your hand is up.
Yes, good morning, Speaker. Speaker, thank you very much, and once again, good morning, Speaker. Good morning to all councillors. Speaker, before you move further with your agenda, I'm just going to request through you that we take half a minute and just take a moment of silence to our former employee, Mr. Fani, who was working at Cleansing, which we all know that he have just passed on last Sunday. I wanted to make that request. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We can do that. Can we have a moment of silence for Mr. Fani? Thank you, councillors. We hope that his family all the strength that they need during this difficult time. So we would like someone to communicate that council do think of them in during this difficult time of them losing a loved one. Thank you. DM, I see your hand is up.
All then, Speaker, all then.
Thank you, everyone. 3.1 councillors present. All councillors are present, and then 3.2 councillors absent without leave. There's none. 3.3 councillors absent with leave. With 3.2, sorry, councillors absent with leave. Councillor Quinana is absent with leave until he can join the meeting, but if he's not going to join the meeting, then he will be absent with leave. 3.3 councillors absent without leave. There's none. Point number 4, noting of the provisions of Code of Conduct for councillors. Point 5, disclosure of interest. Anyone want to disclose anything on the items on the agenda today? Councillor Vail, I see your hand is up. Councillor Vail. Councillor Vail. Okay. Then we are on point number 6, new matters submitted by the acting municipal manager. We are on 6.1. Composition of portfolio committees, and that is on page 4. Councillor Vail, I see your hand is up. Councillors, we are on page number 4. Acting MM.
Speaker, I just want to bring to the attention of the council that there were some replacement pages because the resolution quoted in that report is not complete. So I'm assuming that all councillors received the replacement pages.
Nope.
Councillor Wasserman.
Speaker, no. We noticed that there was some information missing, but we didn't receive. I didn't receive replacement pages. No.
The replacement page was the.
I don't have replacement page.
Community service planning, development, and impact. That was not on the item. The previous committee. Acting MM.
Speaker, correct. It does, however, not change anything materially on the report, because that's just reflecting back on the past. So it doesn't impact on the resolution that we have to take today. So I will ask that those pages be circulated to the councillors. But as I say, it doesn't impact materially on the resolution that you're considering today, Speaker.
Yeah, thank you, MM. It's just the previous people that serve on the committees. Director Technical Services, your hand is up.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just for a point of clarity, and for going forward, I see my department is referred to as Technical Services. I think the name has now changed to Infrastructure Services. so that when we name the committees, we do it correctly. So the name technical services is actually needs to be amended to infrastructure services. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Director. We can correct that.
Speaker.
Councillor, someone need to mute their mic.
Speaker,
thank you, Director. Can we go to the item on page number 4? Director, I see your hand is still up.
Sorry, Madam Speaker, it's an old hand.
Thank you. Councillors, we are on page number 4. The recomposition of portfolio committees. And the recommendation. Can someone mute their mics? Councillor Davis?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
We on. I need you to we need to. Are we going to leave the committees as it is, or are we going to have any changes?
I think it's fine. The recomposition is fine, Madam Speaker. The item is fine as far as we're concerned.
Okay.
We are having some. We just need to
Speaker, we do have names that we would like to put onto the list of the committees.
I was waiting for that.
So I think Councillor Davis has those names from the DA's side, so he can give them through to you.
Yes, Speaker, I must apologize. My connection keeps going on and off, and I'm struggling here, but I'll just read it quickly. If you can hear me. Can you hear me, Speaker?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so on the finance and corporate services, we've got Councillor Tjokolo, and we've got Councillor Wasserman.
Yes.
On community services, Councillor Wolmerans and Councillor Opperman.
Yes.
On technical services, we've got Councillor Davis.
Not technical anymore.
So infrastructure, yes, sorry, infrastructure. Councillor Davis and Councillor Kwinana.
Yes.
On planning and development services, we've got Councillor Weideman and Councillor Struble.
Yes.
On integrated human settlements, we've got Councillor Struble and Councillor Kwinana. Is that in order?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. That is the names that we've got.
Councillor Crouch, as your hand is up.
Thank you, Speaker. I don't know, maybe I've got a small hand, Speaker, because you never see my hand. I must raise it higher. Okay, on finance and corporate services, we've got Councillor Matuani and Councillor Ngezu. On community services, we've got Councillor Ngezu and Councillor Matuani. On infrastructure services, we've got Councillor Naki and Councillor Ngezu. On planning and development services, we've got Councillor Naki and Councillor Matiwani. And then on integrated human settlements, we've got Councillor Ngezu and Councillor Matiwani.
Thank you. Councillor Skosana.
Thank you, Speaker. Greetings to everyone. Speaker, to the Structures Act, Section 60, we are dealing with the committee of the mayor. I thought the mayor will take us through in terms of the chairpersons, because even now we have a committee which is a standing committee, which is integrated human settlement, and there's no name next to the chairperson, but we're putting people underneath. I think the mayor should lead us that. How are the chairpersons standing? Are they still the same? Because it's blank all over. That's what I wanted to raise because the Structures Act is clear. Thank you.
Councillor Weideman, I see your hand is up.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I have a concern about the MPAC chairperson. If MPAC chairpersons are from the ruling ANC and COPE coalition, they will be exercising oversight over themselves. So there is then essentially no point in having an MPAC in these circumstances. You know, I honestly believe that the position should be filled by a member of the opposition party. And I think
Speaker, on a point of order. Speaker.
What is the point of
Councillor
order?
Crouch, on which point are you raising?
Speaker, we are coming to the MPEC scenario. Can we just finish on the recomposition as we are now? Councillor Weideman is running forward on the agenda when we are currently still busy with the recomposition. That is the point of order, Speaker.
Maya, I see your hand is up. Maya?
Speaker, good morning again. Good morning, councillors. Now, you're quite correct. Getting back to what Councillor Skosana have raised, I think for me to respond was first for council to agree that these will now be the new committees. I just remember we had only 4 committees previously, so now we actually extended to 5 committees. So when the council agreed to that we will have 5 committees, it then enabled me now to name the chairpersons of those committees. If council wants me now to do that, I'll quite happily do that now. Just guidance from your side. I'm prepared to give all the chairpersons of all the different Section 80 committees. Thank you very much.
Yes, Maya, you can do that because we are done with the names.
Speaker, thank you very much.
Over to you. Thank you, Maya.
Speaker.
There's somebody speaking there. Speaker, are you going
It's
to
Councillor
allow that person?
It's Councillor Weideman.
Did you overrule my
Councillor
comment?
Weideman, I've heard your concern. We will address that.
But we don't have an item on that. So where will we address that?
Councillor Weideman.
Speaker, I'm raising my hand.
Yes, let me give to the MM. Maybe it will answer or whatever is happening here.
I was
MM,
going to answer that.
Speaker, MPAC is a Section 79 committee, and we are dealing with the Section 80 committees now. But council is free if council wants to also add the MPAC. Council is free to do that. It's up to council to make that resolution. But this actually deals with this report deals with the Section 80 committees.
Thank you, Acting MM. Maya, over to you.
Speaker, thank you very much. As you recall, that previously I said that the mayoral committee, when I made my inaugural speech, remains as is. So there's no change. The only change now would be to put them in the different Section 80 committee chairs. So let's start at the top. Financial and Corporate Services, the chairperson for that committee would be Councillor Claudine Crouch. Community Services, it will be Councillor Salase. Welcome, Salase. Infrastructure would be Councillor Matika. Planning and Development would therefore be Councillor Skosana. And the last one, which is the Integrated Human Settlements, would be the Deputy Executive Mayor, Councillor Doda Tsengwa. I hope it was clear, Chair. If I need to repeat it, I'm prepared to do that. Thanks.
Thank you, Maya. Councillor Crouch, Councillor Weideman, Councillor Matika, your hands are up, and I also see the Acting MM's hands is up.
Thanks, Speaker. I believe that the MM said that there is supplementary pages, and I believe if I heard him correct, that the MPAC is part of the supplementary pages. Now, unfortunately, I have not received the supplementary pages, and if the MM can just maybe indulge us on what is the supplementary pages so we can also deal with that.
MM?
Speaker, the supplementary pages simply, and it has been distributed to councillors now, it's been emailed, but it simply corrects the resolution on the 30th of January 2020. So it looks back. We did not add impact to the recommendation for you to consider today, but if council wants to also deal with impact now, council can simply make a resolution. We can add it to the resolution so that council can elect a chair of impact and elect members of impact now. So it's all up to council. If council wants to add the section 79 committee, it's all up to council to do that. But the supplementary pages only corrects the recommendation or the resolution of the 30th of January 2020. It doesn't deal with the recommendation today.
Thank you, Acting MM. Councillor Matika, I see your hand is up.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I just need two clarities. One, in terms of planning and development, is also the issue of economic development. Where does it's gonna fit? Is still gonna stay planning on development or governance? Just want a clarity on that. The other issue I want to check that there is a councillor that was not part of any committees, which is Councillor Ace, is not part of any committees that are here. So he should be accommodated to be part of the Section 80 committees. Point number 3, just wanted to raise, Speaker, the SALGA working groups, are they still gonna be the same or they gonna be changes? Because I believe they are starting this month, SALGA working groups. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Weideman. You see your hand is up, and then the mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. As recommended by the acting MM, I'd like the council to please consider that we add the impact as well onto this agenda.
Mayor?
Speaker, thanks. No, I agree with Councillor Weideman. Let's deal with impact, a very important committee chair, and I'm even prepared to nominate a member as chairperson of that committee at this moment, if that is allowable by yourself and council.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillor Crouch, I see your hand is up.
I'm sorry, Speaker. This is an old hand. No, my hand is not up. Sorry, Speaker. Can the mayor just repeat what he said now?
Speaker, you want me to do that?
Yes, Mayor.
Speaker, as I said, I agreed with Councillor Weideman that we deal with the item on impact now, must be busy now with the constituting of the different committees. Impact, although it's a Section 79 committee, it's also a committee that we need to appoint a chairperson. There's currently a speaker, but I believe that we should, at this moment, elect a new chairperson for impact. And if you want me to do chair, I'm prepared to nominate a person to be the chairperson of impact. Thanks.
Councillor Weideman, your hand is up, and I'm not sure it's an old hand.
No, it's a new hand. Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you very much, Mayor. If I could perhaps then just make a comment on that. Are we done with the portfolios? Can I go on then with my comments on impact?
Your sound is very, very, very bad, Councillor Weideman.
Okay, I'll try my best. We're having problems in Sedgefield. Is that okay?
I didn't hear your question.
Okay, I want to know if we've completed with the portfolio committees, and may I carry on with my comment on the impact? And I would also then like to make a recommendation.
Speaker, can the ANC ask for a 10-minute caucus, please?
Thank you, Councillor Kraut. Councillor Weideman, can we wait for them to come back after you? Then you can pose your question.
Yes, certainly. Thank you.
Thank you. 10 minutes is now. Must be back at 25 to.
Did I
No,
feel him?
correct.
Just you feel him. I feel him.
No, 10 to.
I feel him.
10.
Speaker, I'm back.
Thank you, Councillor Kraut. Maya, I see your hand is up. Councillor Kraut, I see your hand is up. Councillor Weideman, I see your hand is up. Maya?
Speaker, now I think Councillor Kathy Weideman said if we're going to agree on this, that MPEC will be discussed at this meeting, that she wants to say something about it. If that's still the case, then I would wait till she finishes.
Yes, I have now allowed us to discuss the item of MPEC. So we are putting it on the agenda. Let's be part of our discussion of this item that we are busy with. Councillor Weideman.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I appreciate it. I'm going to start over with my comments that I made earlier on, is that at the moment, the chairpersons are from the ruling ANC and co-party coalition, which means that they will be exercising the oversight over themselves. There is then essentially no point in having an impact in these circumstances.
Councillor Weideman?
Yeah, can I just carry on, please, Speaker? Just give me 2 minutes, please. I just want to say that it should be made, or someone from the opposition, a opposition party should be elected, because I think this would enable the committee to achieve its intended impartiality, and also that strengthens the transparency and oversight which we owe to the ratepayers of Knysna. And we also, this would improve governance and accountability. And therefore, I would like to propose that Councillor Michelle Wasserman be appointed as the chair of IMPAC.
Thank you. The problem that I'm having with you is that it's a sound, it's not what you are. I'm not giving you the chance to speak, Councillor Weideman. It's just a sound. It makes a funny sound. So I
don't know what else to do, Speaker. We are having a bit of problems here in Sedgefield. I don't know if I move closer to the mic, if that would help. Can you hear me, Speaker?
Yes, Councillor Weideman, is your hand still up?
Yeah, well, did you hear me, or would you like me to repeat?
Yes, I heard the last part that you were saying.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
Speaker?
May I see your hand up, Councillor Kraut?
Speaker, Councillor Wolmerans as well.
Yes.
Yeah, Speaker, I will go after the mayor.
Councillor Wolmerans?
Speaker?
Yes.
I want to second the proposal coming from Councillor Weideman.
Thank you. Maya?
Speaker, thank you very much. Speaker, just, and I need to correct Councillor Weideman, please. She made references about a coalition between the ANC and COPE. I'm not quite sure where did she get that. Not only is it not correct statements made, but I wonder where did then she put KUC in this whole scenario. But let that be. Speaker, seeing that the only councillor, and I'm quite happy with the comments made by Councillor Weideman about oversight and opposition and those things. I'm quite happy with that. It's good to hear that people take the oversight responsibility seriously. But Speaker, the only councillor that were left out by all political parties seems to be Councillor Ace. And Councillor Ace, to my knowledge, is a quite capable person by using the words of Councillor Tiokolo when he refers to competent and capable people. Councillor Ace is quite a capable person. He's not been nominated by any political party to serve on any Section 80 committee meeting, portfolio committees. So he'll be now the ideal person for me to nominate as chairperson of MPEC. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillor Crouch.
Thanks, Speaker. Speaker, I also want to make it clear that the ANC do take their oversight responsibility very seriously. And yes, we are very concerned also about the ratepayers, the broader ratepayers of Knysna, to make sure that oversight is happening in this town. And with that, we second the competent ACDP councillor, Ian Ace, which has been proposed by the mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Knaut. Councillor Weideman, I see your hand is still up. Councillor Weideman. Councillor Weideman. Mayor, I see your hand is also still up, and Councillor Crouch's hand is up. Councillor Crouch.
Speaker.
Thank you. We've got now two proposals on the table, two names. We've got Councillor Wasserman and Councillor Ace for the chairperson of MPEC. Councillor Skosana, your hand is up.
Yes, Speaker, I'm going with Ace.
Yeah.
Can we now, for those that propose that Councillor Wasserman must be the chairperson of MPEC, Councillor Wasserman, your hand is up.
Yes, Speaker, I just want to quickly make a comment and remind Council that the terms of reference for MPAC provides that the chairperson of MPAC should be from the largest opposition party. So councillors must just bear that in mind, please.
Exactly.
Speaker?
Yes, yes, Mayor.
My apologies for not putting up my hands. Speaker, no, thank you very much to Councillor Wasserman. We know that. Thanks.
Can we?
You can continue, Speaker.
Yes, I want to. Can we go for those that propose Councillor Wasserman to be the chairperson of MPEC? Can they please put up their hands, put on your mics and put on your cameras, please?
Speaker, Councillor Wasserman.
Yes.
Speaker, Councillor Wolmaran.
Thank you.
Speaker, Councillor Weideman.
Thank you.
Speaker, Councillor Chokolo.
Speaker, Councillor Opperman.
Thank you.
Speaker, Councillor Strubel.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Speaker, Councillor Davis.
Can you just put your camera on, Councillor Davis?
Yes, sure, Speaker. There we go.
Anyone else? Councillor Opperman, I see your hand is up. Councillor Opperman, I see your hand is up.
It's an old hand, sorry.
Okay, thank you. For those that nominate Councillor Ian Ace to be the chairperson of MPAC. You can put your mics on and your camera. Councillor Weideman, your hand is up.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm sorry just to intervene. Are we not taking cognizance of the fact that the mayor has now accepted the fact that the chair must come from the largest opposition party? Are we just ignoring that now?
Speaker.
Councillor Matika, and then the mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the ANC is still the largest opposition party, not the DA. The ANC is still the largest opposition party. So the ANC can.
What democracy?
And Councillor, we are now on the nomination part. Can we just for those that nominate Councillor Ace to be the chairperson of MPAC?
Speaker, Matika here. I nominate Councillor Ace to be chairperson of MPAC.
Councillor.
You can't all speak at the same time, councillors.
Speaker, Councillor Kraut here. I support Councillor Ace to be the chairperson.
Thank you.
Matiwana, Speaker, support Ace.
Councillor Matiwana, can you put your camera on and your mic?
My camera is on and my mic is on, Speaker.
Thank you. I can see you now.
Thank you, Councillor. Do you see me?
Yes, Councillor Ace.
Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker. Councillor Naki.
Ace. Ace.
Thank you. Councillor, I see Deputy Mayor, I see your hand is up. Mayor, I can see you. You can just put your mic on.
Voorsitter, nee, ek ondersteun raadslid Ace ten volle. Baie dankie.
Chairperson, I support Councillor Ace in full. Thank you.
Speaker, ngangena.
Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Speaker, nami ngiyamxhasa uCouncillor Ace njenge-councillor eyobambele umcimbi kumcimbi wezomnotho. Ndicinga uba uzakwenza ngokugqibelela umsebenzi wakhe njengo-councillor ucompetent ngamandla ngabula Councillor Tyokolo. Inkosi.
Thank you.
Speaker, I also support Councillor Ace, as Councillor Ace is a very competent person when it comes to finances, as Councillor Chokoro will always speak about competency. Thank you.
Councillor Salasa, I see your hand is up.
Yes, Councillor. Yes, Speaker. I support Councillor Ace. I am happy that all the Smolanyana party participate in this government of the Naisna. Thank you, Speaker. I support Councillor Ace.
Thank you, Councillor Salase.
Councillor Ngezu. Ace.
Councillor Ngezu.
Ace. Councillor Ace.
Councillor Skosana, I see your hand is up.
Ace for Ace, that hand is up for Ace, Speaker, sure.
Thank you, councillors. I also support the name of Councillor Ace to be the chairperson of MPAC. The people that nominated Councillor, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for Councillor Wasserman, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for Councillor Ace. So Councillor Ace will be the new chairperson of MPAC. I see Councillor Wasserman, your hand is up, and the DM, and Councillor Susan and Councillor Matika.
Speaker, I have a question, please, and perhaps the acting municipal manager can help me. But is it factually or legally correct that when councillors hold positions, executive positions, so for instance, the executive deputy mayor and the executive mayoral positions, mayoral committee members, would those people be then in opposition, and in opposition to whom? I'm very confused about how those that are leading our town are also in opposition. If that could just be clarified for me, please.
Councillor Crouch, I see your hand is up.
Thanks, Speaker. I just wanted to congratulate Councillor Ian Ace as the chairperson of MPEC. I know he will do a good job in doing the oversight. So I think from the ANC side, we want to congratulate Councillor Ian Ace. That's Dankie, Speaker.
Thank you, Mayor.
Speaker, thank you very much again. I'm not quite sure how I should understand the question of Councillor Wasserman, but the MM, if he's in a better position to respond to that, it's fine with me. While he's responding, can he also then respond to the issue whether Councillor Ace is then an opposition councillor? To my knowledge, he's opposition councillor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Acting MM.
Can I just clarify, Speaker?
Yes, I'll stand back.
Thank you. I wanted to clarify the fact, I think there's a misunderstanding that the mayor's had of what I asked, or what the context is. The context is that the ANC said that they are the biggest opposition party. So the fact of the matter is that they are in government. So I just want clarity about then how they find themselves in opposition to. Thank you.
MM.
Honourable Speaker, there is no legal prescripts about what an opposition and a governing party is. These are general terms that are being used, but in general terms, if a party occupies the position of executive government, they are normally referred to as a governing party, but you have exceptions. Sometimes you have a person from a minority party being elected into an executive office. That doesn't mean that minority party then becomes the governing party. So it's a difficult question. It's not one for which there is a clear-cut legal answer where I can go to an act and say this is what the act says. It's open to interpretation. And if councillors want to, we can workshop this matter afterwards, but I cannot say anything more than that, councillor, except to say that the government is formed by those that are elected into position of executive authority.
Thank you, Acting MM. Maya, your hand is up.
Speaker, I don't want to prolong this debate and discussions. I think the MM basically was quite clear. If there is some councillors that needs to get clarity, or we are unsure about who is opposition, who is not opposition, I don't think at this moment, Speaker, that's got something to do with the issue of MPEC. I therefore believe if the DA through Councillor Wasserman think that we should get some clarity on what is meant by opposition within a council, I would then follow the route proposed by the acting MM. Let's have then a workshop to determine who's opposition, who's not opposition. But at this moment, Chair, I think we voted. I'm quite happy with Councillor Ace, who is an opposition councillor, to be the chairperson of MPEC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I think, yes, we are done with that one. Can we, MM, is your hand still up? MM?
Sorry, Speaker.
Yes, Councillor Ace, your hand is up. Councillor Chokolo, your hand is up.
Yes, Madam. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Ace first.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, I just wish to thank those who put me in this position, and I can assure you I shall certainly do my best. I would like to see the rest of the committee at some stage being appointed, but persons like Matiwani and Delazi and Wasserman would be most welcome to serve with me. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Chokolo.
No. Thank you, Speaker. I think Councillor Ace has touched on what I was also thinking. Now that we've got a chairperson, I think we will also have to recompose that. But if it can be done in the future, then I'm okay with it.
Thank you, Councillor Kraut.
Madam Speaker, I do agree with what Councillor A said. However, we are currently busy with the item. I don't think we must come and revisit it. So I would propose that Matiwani and Councillor Matiwani and Councillor Naki remain on the MP committee.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Kraut. Councillor Davis? Or must I speak to Councillor Wasserman?
Madam Speaker, you want to speak to me about what?
Yes, about the MP committee.
What do you want to speak to me about the Impact Committee, Speaker?
Because there's now a vacancy on the MP committee.
I don't understand what...
Councillor, how many people are supposed to be on that committee?
Who
Sorry,
is
maybe I
our-
must ask.
who is
Councillor, Acting MM?
I'm sorry, Speaker, I missed that. Can you ask again?
There's now 3 people. I think there's no, that's fine because Councillor 8 now just become the chairperson. It was my confusion. Thank you, Councillor Davis. You have asked me to give you a platform. So we agree that Councillor Ace has been the chairperson of MPEC and the Section 80 committee has been established. Councillor Davis, over to you.
Okay.
Councillor Matiwana.
Somebody is on his phone.
Is Councillor Matika?
Councillor
Matika.
Councillor
Matika.
Tista?
Okay.
Tista, you on loudspeaker, can you mute? There we go, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Davis.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I did ask you to grant me this opportunity. I was going to mention it under point 4 of the agenda, but my computer bombed out because of the internet connection here at the office. But we just want to congratulate Elder Lady Wolmerans, who was obviously inducted into a very special place, in terms of government and local government particularly, which really speaks to a career and a tenure, and it speaks to a sense of professionalism, integrity, and endurance in politics. And as the day, we want to wish her well, and also maybe to be cognizant of the fact that for the last 3 years, I've been asking that council actually have some sort of policy also relating to the if we can say the inducting or whatever term we want to use of aldermen and elder ladies. So we want to just wish Elder Lady Wolmerans all the best, and we appreciate the fact that she's been recognized for her contribution in local government as well as on the district which has recognized her. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. Councillor Ace, your hand is up.
Sorry, it's an old hand.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Davis. Councillor Wolmerans, I would also like to congratulate you being an alderman in our district now. It's been a long journey, I know. And I think you deserve that recognition. Thank you so much. Councillor Crouch, as your hand is up.
Thanks, Speaker. Councillor Wolmerans, I also want to congratulate you as the elder lady. And we wish you luck. But yeah, jy seker nou al baie lank in die politiek, jong. Ou garde nou. MM, Sorry, Speaker. I would just like to know where we now. Are we not going to do the recomposition of the MPEC, or are we just, we've elected the chairperson of MPEC, so are we going to do the recomposition of the MPEC committee now, or not? I just need to understand that one, Speaker.
No, there's no need, because there's just 4 people that needs to be on that committee. We are still 4. There were just 4 people on the committee. So it's Councillor Ace is the chairperson, Councillor Naki, Councillor Chokolo, and Councillor Matiwana.
Noted, Speaker.
Speaker.
Who's that? Councillor Acting MM?
It's Chokolo.
Speaker, I think the fact that you've elected a new speaker also requires you to elect a new committee. So, I mean, it can be the same members of the committee, can be re-elected, but I think you need to now also elect members of that committee.
Yes, Councillor Kraus has put Councillor Matiwana, Councillor Naki on the committee. Councillor Chokolo is already on the committee. Councillor Chokolo, I see your hand is up.
Yes, Speaker. I want to withdraw my name, Speaker, and put Councillor Wasserman.
Thank you. So the committee is Councillor Ace as the chairperson, Councillor Naki, Councillor Matiwana, Councillor Wasserman, and Councillor Beryl is an ex-official member on the committee as the chairperson of the audit committee. MM, I see your hand is still up.
Sorry, Speaker.
Okay, Councillor Chokolo. Councillor Weideman.
It's Councillor Wasserman.
Councillor Weideman. We can't hear you.
How many people are allowed on the MPAC? What is the maximum numbers? Can you hear me?
Yes, Councillor Weideman. There were 4 people on the committee.
How many?
There were 4.
Is the maximum not 5 people?
It's a section.
Maybe the acting MM can help.
Councillor Wasserman, I see your hand is up, and then I will ask the MM. I did ask the maximum of the committee. Councillor Wasserman.
Thank you, Speaker. I also wanted to ask the same question. How many people can be on the committee? Because I would prefer it if the DA has 2 members, myself and Councillor Chukolo.
That's right.
Acting MM?
Speaker, I just need to get advice. I mean, you'll have you'll excuse me if I do not know everything of the municipality's rules at this point. So if you'll allow me just to get advice on that matter, I'll get back to you.
Okay. But the committee did consist of 4 people.
Speaker, can I ask that we perhaps just if you just give me 5 minutes? If you can just perhaps adjourn for 5 minutes. Just
Okay,
so
then we can go on to the next item, and we will come back to that one of MPEC.
I'll
Speaker,
5 minutes to speak because
Councillor
I have to
Speaker,
concentrate.
I think while the MM is asking for 5 minutes, if we can also have a 5-minute caucus before we go on to that item. I would just want to maybe give a little bit of clarity, Speaker. As currently the ACDP is the chairperson, and previously it was the ANC that was the chairperson with 1 ANC members and 2 members of the different opposition parties. And that was the reasoning behind it. So I don't know what now has suddenly changed.
Thank you. Then I will grant you the 5 minutes that you need. Can we all be back at 20 past?
Speaker,
Yes.
I'm very sorry. Can I ask that we extend that to 10 minutes, please?
For 2.
10.
10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah.
Yes, it's now 13 minutes past. So we can be back at 25 past.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
And so, Speaker, we are back. Well, I'm back.
Madam Speaker, we're back.
Thank you, councillors. I think the MMF asked us to extend the time because they are still looking for advice from the legal department. I think we need to give them another 10 minutes if that is okay with councillors.
Sorry, Speaker, who did you say is getting advice from the legal department?
Councillor Wasserman, you remember the MMF asked for
The
10
MMF asked
minutes.
for a longer, yeah. So is he getting advice from the legal department?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when should we be back, Speaker?
It's now 25 past.
No, it's 25 to. Yeah.
Yes. Let's say at 10 to.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank
Speaker.
you, Councillor.
Sibuyani. Ithini ukuthi asibuyeni.
For hoe lank is die caucus, Speaker?
No, it wasn't a caucus, Councillor Kraut. MMF asked for more time. And I think the MM is back now. It's 10-2. MM?
Speaker, I am back. Thank you.
Over to you, MM.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I've looked at the legal position and I got advice from our legal department on this matter. So there is no legislation that determines how impact should be composed of and who the chairperson must be and so forth. But the council have adopted a terms of reference, and that terms of reference is applicable because council has a resolution that adopted the terms of reference. I have to point you to 3 items in the terms of reference, Speaker, and I'll read them to you. 3.4 of the terms of reference reads as follows. The appointment of the chairperson must be in terms of a municipal council resolution. The chairperson may not be a political office bearer, executive council in the municipal council. The chairperson must be an experienced councillor who has the necessary skills and expertise to preside over this critical committee. The chairperson shall be from the largest opposition party. If the chairperson is absent from a meeting, the members present must elect a member from the meeting to preside at that particular meeting. I'll read all 3 and then I'll come back to it, right? So the next item that is applicable is item 3.6 that reads that the committee shall consist of 5 councillors with knowledge of financial and/or governance matters, 3 of whom will be from the ruling party and 2 shall be from the largest opposition party. And then 3.11, the committee may co-opt a maximum of 2 additional members who have the applicable skills as it deems necessary. The chairperson of the audit committee shall be one of such additional members. The names of the members shall be reported in the relevant annual report of the municipality. So, Speaker, to come back, I was asked to go look at the composition of the impact, and that the composition is that it should be 5 councillors, 3 from the ruling party and 2 from the largest opposition party. But now I've also found item 3.4, which says that the chairperson must be from the largest opposition party. So the resolution that you've taken earlier in this meeting, based on this TOR, you will have to rescind and get a chairperson from the largest opposition party. We still have the issue about what is the opposition and the ruling party, but I think for purposes of this of the elections that you have to have, it would be my interpretation, and based on advice that I got from the legal department, that a party that forms part of the governing coalition, of the governing that has executive office in the council, will be deemed as the ruling party, the largest one, and the parties that do not have representation in the governing coalition or in the executive positions of the council will be deemed the opposition parties. So that is the position. I don't know if you need any more clarity on that, Speaker, but that is what I've now found. Thank you.
Thank you, Acting MM. Maya, I see your hand is up.
Speaker, thank you very much. MM, thank you very much. Speaker, I did engage with the MM. And to be honest with you, I now quite clearly remember this debate which we had in council, and my, at that stage, debate with Councillor De Vries on this issue. And MM, thank you very much. Speaker, let's not waste a lot of time here. I think it's important that we take our responsibilities as a responsible council and responsible leadership very seriously. I therefore need us to adhere to that references, terms of reference of our impact structure, and then and I'm not quite sure whether the procedure will here be correct, Speaker, you can guide me in that regard, that we then withdraw our nomination of Councillor Ace as the chairperson of Impact Chair. So I'm not quite sure how the process, because there's already a decision by council, and whether council should now at this moment again, and MM, you need to guide us here, review and rescind that decision, because there's already a resolution by voting that Councillor A should be the chairperson of Impact. So that's the first part I want to raise, that we accept the fact that we've got terms and references. We're happy with that. We will adhere to that. We're not going to be a banana republic that just disregard decisions which we took earlier. So if I can be guided, or if we can be guided by either Dr. Skips himself or you, whether we should now review and rescind that decision which we took earlier in order to take a new decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maya. Acting MM.
Speaker, it is indeed so. You have taken a resolution, but what you must now do is, based on new information that you've received, you now review and rescind the previous resolution, and you make a resolution that is in line with your terms of reference.
Thank you, Acting MM. Councillor Skosana, your hand is up.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, MM, for taking us into confidence in terms of the term of reference. I appreciate that information. Speaker, we don't want to waste any time. Can I nominate so that we can proceed with the meeting?
Thank you, Councillor Skosana. Councillor Kraut.
Just a question, Speaker. So are we doing the process now? Van die begin now. We're going to start from the beginning now.
But someone was saying that we are rescinding the first one, and someone was then seconded. Councillor, the Deputy Mayor and then Councillor Wasserman. Mayor, sorry.
Speaker, thank you very much. That's why I said I knew what the process is, but I just want to make sure that we do it correctly. Therefore, I propose that we review and rescind our previous decision on the chairmanship of MPEC. That is my proposal. I would love to get a seconder for that, and then we'll go further with the next process then. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor, Councillor Krauts. Councillor Salase.
Thanks, Speaker. I don't know, sometimes, Speaker, you don't see my hands there. I don't know, sometimes it looks like the councillor's concern. It was my initiate MS and MS is the councillor's concern. But thank you, Speaker. I think I seconded Mayor. I seconded, Speaker. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Skosana, now I see your hand.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm nominating Councillor Madam Chi, Shaulin Volderman.
Councillor Wasserman. I see your hand is up.
Yeah, I took it down again, Speaker. I just wanted to second what the Executive Mayor said now. He will recall that I did inform him and the rest of Council that that is what the terms of reference of impact was, and his response to me was, I know. And he decided to proceed in any event. But thank you very much to the Executive Mayor for being gracious enough now to acknowledge that he was wrong. And I'd like to support in rescinding that resolution. Thank you.
Mayor, so your hand is up, and Councillor Trocolo.
Speaker, the last
Speaker,
thing
my
that,
hand is also up.
Speaker, the last thing that I want to get involved is a tit for tat with Councillor Wasserman. I never used the word no, K-N-O-W. I said noted. But let's not go there, Chair. I've made that proposal. It was seconded by Councillor Salase. If there's not any other proposal, I therefore believe that that one has been rescinded.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
And therefore, Chair, I will then have to go to the proposal of Councillor Skosana when he proposed Councillor Wolmerans, Chair. And I just believe that that proposal was a well-thought proposal, taking consideration the fact that we've just heard that Councillor Wolmerans is an elder lady. And one of the requirements in our terms of reference are quite clear. It should be a very experienced councillor. Who can you get more experience than elder lady? So in that instance, Chair, I would love then to support or second the proposal made by Councillor Skosana and Kos.
Thank you. Councillor Wolmerans.
There's a lot of confusion today between Wolmerans and Wasserman, but this is Councillor Wolmerans speaking.
Yes, Councillor Wolmerans.
I want to thank Councillor Skosana for the proposal and the seconder from the Mayor, but I would respectfully decline the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wolmerans. Councillor Chokolo, I see your hand is up.
Thank you very much, Speaker. You know, we as a council should always look at the precedent. I think when we were in government, we used to say the opposition party should put on their nomination, and we don't nominate anyone for that position. So for that, Speaker, I would say I would support, I think the proposal was put by Councillor Weideman and seconded by Councillor Wolmerans, that Michelle Wasserman be the chairperson. Speaker, she is very much capable and competent. So I would propose that we go to that one. And let the executive please respect our space of opposition. Let us just nominate our own person. Thank you, Speaker.
Mayor?
Thank you very much. I'm not quite sure when the day was in charge, but okay, that's fine. Chair, let me get back to a concern which I need to raise also here. Councillor Wasserman, to my knowledge, is serving on two very important committees. And those committees is the Section 80 committees. I just want to get guidance again from the MM, whether serving on those two committees would not be some sort of conflict of interest if Councillor Wasserman is also the chairperson of MPEC. As I could recall, Councillor Wasserman has been nominated by the DA to serve on the committees, which is the Financial and Corporate Services, and I'm not quite sure which is the other one. I think that's what the one committee. Now that, especially the Finance Committee Chair, in my experience being part of that committee, that is the main committee that normally refers these things for investigation in MPEC. So just for some assistance here through you to the MM, whether if Councillor Wasserman, for example, serves on that specific committees, whether that is not a conflict of interest. Then, Chair, which is very important here, Councillor Ace, as a member of council, needs to be accommodated on a Section 80 committee. We are councillors here, and I was very disappointed in both the ANC and the DA that they did not even consider Councillor Ace to be a member of the Section 80 committee. If we want to believe that they will be an inclusive council, please, let's talk the talk. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor, Councillor Crouch, and then Councillor Wasserman. Councillor Weideman, is your hand up?
Yes, Speaker.
I
think I'm covered by what Councillor van Aswegen has said, because I was going to ask the same question. But I think before I carry on, I think we would first like the acting MM to give clarity on what Councillor van Aswegen has asked.
Councillor Wasserman, I see your hand is up.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Just to correct the Executive Mayor, I am only on one committee, which is the Financial and Corporate Services Committee, not on two committees. And then just with regards to Councillor Ace, I think that Councillor Ace is competent enough to nominate himself. He represents a political party, and it is completely within his rights to put his name forward for any Section 80 committee. And then with regards to the Executive Mayor's other issue about how matters are sent from the Finance Committee to MPAC, I don't think that's entirely correct, Executive Mayor. I think that Council, it's a committee of Council, and Council refers matters to MPAC.
Thank you, Councillor Wasserman. Councillor Weideman, is your hand down now?
No, thank you. I've now just been covered by Councillor Wasserman. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Councillor Zuko.
Thank you, Speaker. Now that the MM also, Speaker, has come back to say, in terms of reference, is saying we should have 5 members, then I would like to put my name on again, because I was withdrawing in having the impression that we're supposed to be 4. But if it's 5, then it will be myself and Councillor Wasserman. For thanks from the DA.
Maya, I think you will be the last one before the acting MM will come up.
Speaker, thanks. I think that we're now trying to finalize this whole process. Maar 2 vliee moet 1 klap gee. Chair, I need to apologize to Councillor Wasserman if my first language is not English. Ek het so groot geword ongelukkig. So I should have actually been apologetic towards that. But if she doesn't understand my English, I apologize towards her. I said that it's normally the Finance Committee that recommend to Council or recommend items to MPEC. That's what I said. But okay, that's fine. Let's not go to that type of stupid debates. Chair, therefore, I would therefore recommend that Councillor Ace be the member, or propose the member of MPEC. So would therefore be Councillor Naki, Councillor Matiwani, Councillor Tiokolo, and Councillor Wasserman. And I want to add on to that speaker, Councillor Ace. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Maya. Councillor Kraus.
Thanks, Speaker. Speaker, I was still waiting for the acting MM's answer on the question that the mayor has raised, that if the chairperson of MPEC is part of the Finance and Corporate Services Committee, should she then be allowed to be the chairperson? I just need also clarity on that one, because if that is the case, we need to make sure that Councillor Ace is also represented on the different Section 80 committees of council.
Yes, acting MM.
Speaker, the terms of reference doesn't say anything about that. The only thing that it says is that the chairperson cannot hold executive position in the municipality. It doesn't say that the chairperson cannot be a member of another committee.
Okay,
neither does the 3.6 say that. So the terms of reference is silent on that matter, Speaker.
Thank you, MM. Councillor Ace, I see your hand is up.
Yes,
Councillor Ace?
Speaker, I'm not used to nominating myself for standing for positions, but I think if I could stand on the Finance Committee, it would solve a number of problems here. So I'll nominate myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ace.
Okay, Speaker, can I come in here, please?
Yes.
Okay, Speaker, then I withdraw the name of Councillor Nezu on the Finance Committee. And then I would just like to ask Councillor Ace, is that the only committee you would like to serve on?
Thank you. Councillor Ace, can you come in?
Yes, at this stage, thank you.
Thank you. So, Councillors, MM, I see your hand is up.
No, Speaker, what I wanted to say is if Councillor Ace goes on to the Finance Committee, then there should be a member withdrawn, and Councillor Crouch has now done that. So
yes. Thank you, then. We've got Councillor Ace then putting on the Finance Committee. And we've got the MP Committee with Councillor Wasserman as the chairperson, Councillor Naki, Councillor Matiwana, Councillor Chokolo, Councillor Ace, Councillor Barrel as the ex-official member of that committee. Are we in agreement?
Yes, we can move, Speaker.
Yes, Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we now go to 6.2? I see just a lot of hands up. Maya, your hand is up. MM's hand is up. With old hands.
Speaker, no, not an old hand. Speaker, no, not an old hand. I wasn't quite sure. Speaker.
Yes, Maya.
Councillor Ace nominated himself. I need just for the purpose of record in the minutes who seconded that because Councillor Kraut said that says prepared to remove.
Kraut seconded.
If Councillor Kraut had seconded, that's fine, Chair.
Yes.
Then, Chair, I need to congratulate, in this case, Chair, the maturity of the ANC, showing to the opposition that we're not scared to review our decisions if we believe it is in the interest of the town and in the correct decision. So I need to thank the ANC for being that mature leading party. Thanks.
Thank you. MMS, your hand is still up?
Speaker, yes, I wanted just to draw your attention to the question of the two additional members, the members that you can co-opt. And I assume that you want to co-opt the chairperson of the audit committee. You must just formally do so. And then if you want to co-opt another member, you are free to do so.
Thank you. Councillor Kraut?
Thanks, Speaker. Speaker, I would propose that we that MPEC co-opt Ray Barrel, the chairperson of the audit committee, who has been assisting the MPEC committee since 2016, and he was actually co-opted not even as a chairperson, because he was the chairperson of the audit committee. He was co-opted because of his knowledge and his vast experience in that department. So I would propose that we stick with Ray Barrel on that one.
Thank you, councillors. And Councillor Zuko and Councillor Wasserman. And Councillor Ace, hand is still up.
Sorry,
we can
Speaker,
conclude
old
this
one.
matter. Councillor Wasserman.
Thank you, Speaker. No, I agree with Councillor Krautz. Ray Barrel would be an absolute asset, and he should definitely be co-opted onto the committee, please.
Thank you. Yeah, the terms of reference, acting MM do make provision for council to have to go and look for someone outside the municipality also. But I think we never did that in the past. But it's impact decision to make if they need someone with a legal experience actually from outside the municipality. Then they can also co-opt a person with legal experience if they haven't got that on the committee. Councillor Davis, I see your hand is up.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker. I just want to congratulate Councillor Wasserman. And we know that with the experience, legal experience and legal background, she is in fact correctly suited for this background, and we appreciate her, and we know that she's going to make a great impact. So we just want to congratulate her, and it's going to add a lot of value to the municipality. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. Can we go to 6.2? Ad hoc committee of COVID-19.
Speaker, can I just, before we move off, just so that we make sure we get the names right, don't you want to just repeat the members of Impact, please, for the administration's sake?
The members of Impact is Councillor Wasserman is the chairperson, Councillor Matiwana, Councillor Naki, Councillor Chokolo, and Councillor Ace, and Councillor Barrel as the ex-official member on the committee.
Yes, Speaker, Mr. Barrel. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, Mr. Barrel. Are you covered, MM?
I am. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. We can you someone proceed on 6.2 ad hoc committee of COVID-19?
Yes, Speaker, both the chairperson of the audit committee as well as our head of internal audit have resigned, and that's why we brought the item to you to consider replacing them.
Thank you, Emma. There's a recommendation is on page 10. Councillor Crouch, your hand is up.
Thanks, Speaker. My understanding is that the function of this committee is purely administrative. So if the function of the committee is purely administrative, I would make a recommendation that the chairperson of finance that the acting MM find a suitable candidate to replace the chairperson of finance, since it is an administrative function. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Kraus. Councillor Chokolo. Councillor Chokolo.
Speaker, thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, thank you very much. I appreciate that from Councillor Krauts, because that was exactly my concern, because the letters of the two gentlemen who resigned were mentioning that. So I think I will welcome if that's the case, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Wasserman.
Speaker, sorry, my mic was off. There we go. Speaker, yes, we agree with Councillor Krautz. I just wanted to get clarity. Did she suggest that Council looks for a replacement for her, that we do that now? Someone from the administration?
Speaker, I recommend that the acting MM find a suitable candidate within the administration to replace the chairperson of finance.
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, agreed.
Okay, so we need to change recommendation C or to
Speaker.
add to it. Councillor Skosana?
Thank you, Speaker. My hand was up, Speaker. Speaker, I respect what the councillors are saying in terms of dealing with it, with this item around the committee, formulation of the committee of this ad hoc committee of COVID-19. But Speaker, I thought also that within this report will be given a full report around the convict status within our institution. Because Speaker, it's a worrying factor what is happening within this institution of ours, within the municipality. I must say that we put measures only for cleansing department, but we never put measure for other departments. But I must congratulate the Department of Planning for taking care of the lives of the people of that department. I must say that the director have done.
You are breaking up, Councillor Skosana. You are breaking up.
Yes, I'm trying, and yes, I'm breaking up, but I'm back now. I'm saying we need to have a fully report in all departments what's happening. Because directors are taking this pandemic not very serious.
Councillor Skosana?
Yes,
Can I interrupt you? Let's deal with the items on the agenda, and I think then the MM can give us a report on the issues of COVID, and then we can ask questions.
Our respect. Yes, I hope that you will not be.
You are breaking up.
I would like in terms of our own institution. Let's break it in our own institution. You must give us a report with what is happening in our own institution, which is the national. I'll wait for that today. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Skosana. Can we deal with the recommendation on CMM? Can you assist us?
Speaker, the way I understand it, you want to change recommendation C1 to read as follows: that the acting municipal manager identify and appoint a suitable person in the administration to form part of the ad hoc COVID-19 committee.
Yes, and report back to council.
And report back to council, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, acting MM.
Thanks, MM.
So we agree. Then we can go to 6.3. The water item on the ward demarcation. Municipal Demarcation Board. It's on page 13. Councillor Wasserman, I see your hand is up, and Councillor Kraut and Councillor Skosana.
Thank you, Speaker. I just have some questions about the stakeholders. The recommendation speaks of informing the relevant stakeholders. How will the stakeholders be chosen? Who will they be? Will political parties be stakeholders, and who will their representatives be? Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Wasserman. Councillor Kraut? And then Councillor Skosana, Matika, and Councillor Wolmerans. I see your hand is up.
Thanks, Speaker. I think on the recommendation B, that date is not correct, Speaker.
Thank you.
Yeah, Speaker, I'm covered.
The 15th,
that was
the 15th
also
of July.
the point that I wanted to make. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Speaker, so I'm covered. Thank you. I'm also covered. I'm going to lower my hand.
Thank you, Councillor Wolmerans. Councillor Matika, and I see the mayor's hand is also up. Councillor Matika. Councillor Kosana.
Thank you. Speaker, I hope the Director of Community Services is still on. I need to check in terms of the VDs of Ward 3, in terms of this demarcation board proposal that Pesim Dala and the portion that is going to Ward 3, they can't use the same simultaneous, the same VD. I will propose that it must be checked. Then that 150 can go to vote at, we can create a VD at rent office. That's one speaker. Two speaker, the issue of areas where there is no ward committees. How will they deal with that? We know in Ward 4, we haven't yet established a ward committee. I think that need also to be taken into consideration as well, Speaker. Also, Speaker, there is a proposal date that said the 22nd of June. There will be a visual meeting. We will need to clarify that one as well, Speaker. And last but not least, how will we deal with people who cannot write in terms of submission? And lastly, but also we need to understand that this visual, how will it work? Because we know that we don't need to have gatherings in terms of the regulations. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Kosana. Maya, I see your hand is up.
Speaker, thank you very much. No. Coming back to, and I think Councillor Waterman is correct in her concern raised about the stakeholders, Chair. My ward has been seriously impacted on this new demarcation proposals, and close to, I think it's 1,500 or 1,300 voters in that ward are now being asked to move to a new ward. And I would love to know, Chair, because at that meeting, they probably supply us with the reasons why they want to change or amend the wards. So I would love to know, when you talk about stakeholders, who determines the stakeholders there? Because I believe anyone, all of those 1,300 to 1,500 voters that has been impacted on, they are a stakeholder. So I just want to understand who's going to determine that and how that is going to work when you have a virtual meeting. Thanks.
Thank Maya. Acting MM?
Speaker.
Councillor Matika?
Yes, it's okay, it's Matika. Speaker, as I've been checking the proposal of the demarcation board, just need some two clarities. One, I see the Methodist Church is split into two. There is a Methodist Church as a VD in Ward 4 with 961 possible voters. Again, you go to Ward 8, there is also a Methodist Church. So there's an extra VD, it's about Ward 8 will have 3 VDs. And then you also have a Methodist Church. And then the number of allocated voters is about 400. The other issue I want to check, Speaker, the issue of ward committees for the areas, for the hotspot areas like your Ward 4, your Ward 8, where there is an issue of Ward 48. Is it wise that only 2 members of the ward committee members will represent the views of the community? Is that a wise decision in terms of demarcation board proposal? The other issue I want to check, Speaker, I believe that all other stakeholders and political party did submit their proposals to the demarcation board. I don't know why, I just want to check, is there a reason why those other proposals are not attached to the demarcation board, or we only focusing on one proposal, the demarcation board proposal?
Thank you, Councillor Matika. Acting MM?
Speaker, just in terms of the question of stakeholders, on page 15 in the letter of the Municipal Demarcation Board, I'll read you the relevant paragraph. It says, municipalities are encouraged to extend their invitation, where technically feasible, to representatives of different municipal stakeholders from the community, example, traditional leadership, political parties, community development workers, and any other community representatives as provide information, create awareness to empower public and community representatives and encourage public participation on the ward delimitation process. In this session, the MDB will provide clarity on the process and any other matter related to ward delimitation. So I think that is quite clear. We must determine who we regard as stakeholders. They've given us guidance on who they think we should include, but it's up to the Knysna municipality to decide how we do it. And the meetings will be virtual, so I'm quite sure that we'll be able to set it up in a public way, the same as what we do with our council meetings. Meetings to the meeting.
Thank you, MM. Maya, I see your hand is up. Maya, I see your hand is up.
Sorry, my apologies. It's an old day. Ek lees iets anders daaroor.
MM, through you, can we get the director of corporate then to Councillor Wasserman?
Speaker, thank you. I think after Dr. Skeepers has given us that clarity, perhaps if he will make a list of who the stakeholders should be and circulate that to the relevant political parties, and then we can give inputs if necessary, that some thought can just go into who will be identified, and then we can add to it if necessary.
I'm not quite sure, MM, because I thought the public participation was the community will be ward based, and if you go to that ward and then you invite the stakeholders within that ward. And then we take the comments of the people in that ward and put all the comments together of all the wards that we've got. I'm not sure if that will be the process, because we can't just say we're going to now take stakeholders and see who they are. They are in wards, so the wards must identify stakeholders from their wards. The councillors. Councillor Wasserman.
Speaker, just the leisure of the board gives examples. For example, representatives from the community, which would be ward-based, like your ward committees and so on. But they also mention specifically, for example, traditional leaders and political parties. And that wouldn't form part of your usual ward-based consultation process. So that's why I'm recommending that a list be drawn up of who we should use and that we circulate it, because I don't think that we'll have time to apply our minds in this meeting.
Okay. MM?
Speaker, no, that is correct. My understanding is that there will be one meeting for Knysna municipality, so we won't have different meetings in the different wards. But obviously in that one meeting, the different wards delimitation will be discussed. So what we'd have to do is we'd have to identify stakeholders. So now some of those stakeholders will be across the municipality. So political parties, for instance, we won't invite per ward, they will be invited as a political party. But then you would have for the specific wards, you would have, you'd identify, for instance, the ward committees, and you invite the other forums and so on that you identify. I think the proposal made by Councillor Wasserman is a sensible one, that we draw up such a list, we circulate that list, and we allow councillors to make input into that list, so that if we need to add or take away, we then do that. I would recommend, Speaker, that the council also makes a resolution that between yourself and me, we make that final determination after consulting with all the councillors, so that you know we don't have to come back to council, but that we consult, myself and the Speaker, consult with the councillors about who should be invited, and we then make a final determination and we send it off to the demarcation board. I also think, besides the specific stakeholders that we will be inviting, I also think that we should have our meeting open to whoever wants to log in and attend the meeting.
Thank you, Acting Councillor Matika, and then the Mayor. Councillor Ngezu.
I want to know something. The Kokoti Methodist Church in what form? Can you explain that for me?
Councillor Ngezu, I think the MMF made a suggestion that we will take a list from councillors of stakeholders who's going to present us, and then we will, if that is what I'm understanding. Mathematica?
I was saying, Speaker, you know, if I listen correctly to the MM is saying that there's going to be one nicer telecommunication meeting with different stakeholders. So it means that you cannot have maybe if it's two, it's what committees from each ward. You cannot have your ANC as a stakeholder from Tumanokwe, your ANC as a stakeholder from Ward 6. So which means there'll be one from each different political party. So my worry is that I was saying that we're gambling with the demarcation and saying that only two from Ward 8, maybe your ward committees, will go and be the voice of the rest of the ward. While we know that previously, in 2016 and the by-election, there were lots of problems. I'm sure the IEC could attest there were lots of problems regarding the demarcation. So are we not so now, which means that not the full community will be represented, because some of the ward committees are representing themselves or representing a certain sector, not representing the whole community. So will we be allowed as councillors to engage, to have our public engagements with our community, to have inputs, or will those ward committee be allowed to have inputs with the community before going with the proposals or before going to the demarcation? Because if they just go there, where will they have a mandate? In what mandate will they be going to represent their wards? On what mandate if there will be no other meeting? I understand there's an issue of conflict. But I understand the issue of conflict, but also we need to check that the community, how are they going to be part and parcel of this demarcation, so that next year we don't come and fight about, we were not told, or those one didn't have a mandate. Thank you.
Acting MM.
Speaker, like I said, we will identify specific stakeholders to be invited. All councillors are automatically stakeholders. And then I'm also of the view that we should make the invitation open to everybody that wants to participate. But specifically, we need to get the ward committees, and we need to get political parties. And if there's traditional leadership, we need to get them, like the Municipal Demarcation Board recommends. The reality is, Speaker, that these interactions with the Demarcation Board, or not the reality, these meetings is not the only forum that people have to interact with the Demarcation Board. Any person has the right to provide comments to the Demarcation Board about specific ward delimitation matters. This is just a meeting that a schedule of meetings that the Demarcation Board is having across the country, so that people also have the right not only to write into the board, but also to make in a meeting to make representations about what they think the ward delimitation process should consider in those different wards. So I hope I'm answering everybody. Councillors would, in my opinion, automatically be a stakeholder, as would political parties and ward committees, and then we must determine who else beyond that should also be invited.
Thank you, Maya.
Speaker, thanks again. Speaker, yes, I believe that what the intention is of the MMA is to be as inclusive as possible, which I totally agree to. You need to get all people on board here. Speaker, as the ward councillor for Ward 6, I'm going to raise it at that meeting, but I just want to raise it here also so that people can understand my frustration with these things. It seems to be that Horn is becoming playing ball of the demarcation board. That specific area has been every time being part of all these demarcations, left, right, and center. Then with Ward 9, then with 11, then with Ward 8. And I just believe, Chair, that we at one stage need to get a clear explanation from the demarcation board. I mean, there's wards in this town, like Ward 1 and 2, never been changed whatsoever. The only area changed 5 times already into different wards, and it's frustrating to the communities, and I would understand the frustration again from the community when they resist to this. But I just want to raise that as the ward council of Ward 6 and as a community member of Only. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maya. Councillor Matika has your hand up. Can we add the recommendation on
everybody? If everybody is done, I would like to recommend to you another resolution that you might adopt, like we spoken now. So I'm recommending that the Speaker and Acting Municipal Manager consult with councillors about stakeholders to be identified and invited to the Municipal Demarcation Board Ward Delimitation virtual meeting, whereafter the Speaker and Acting Municipal Manager make a final list of the stakeholders to be invited and send this list off to the Municipal Demarcation Board.
Agreed.
Yes, Councillor Kraft.
Agreed. Agreed, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. So we agree with the recommendation. With recommendation D added to it. Do we agree?
Yes, Speaker.
Yes, Speaker.
Thank you. We now have to go into the in-committee, but before we go into the in-committee items, can we, can can you just give us a report back? Carl, I see your hand is up.
Speaker?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I just would like to know, there were issues about the date in recommendation number B. Is that date correct?
The date
Shall
is
be minuted as such?
15th of July.
So the date is correct?
Yes, 15th of July, not the...
Yeah.
Not 15th
That is
June.
not correct. It's the 15th of July, Speaker.
Thank you. We will minute it as such.
Speaker, you also received a motion of exigency before we go into the in-committee meeting.
Yes. I was on that.
Yes, Speaker, so Councillor Crouch submitted a motion of exigency and it was circulated to all the councillors.
Yes.
So what the council must first of all decide is whether the motion of exigency will serve. That's the first decision you must make. And thereafter, if it is accepted, then council must debate, or it can go straight into a decision on the matter. So first of all, council needs to decide whether the motion can serve.
Carl, is your hand up? Okay, Councillor Luzuko. And then Councillor Wasserman. And Councillor Crown.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Speaker. I see now, I just want to applaud you, Speaker. I see now you're moving maybe to another direction by the motions, because normally in special council meetings, we don't have motions or motions of exigency. But I do really want to say, Speaker, I see now we're moving to a new chapter. So in the future, you will. So I'm very happy about that,
Must
Speaker.
become the preacher,
So may we continue in that vein, Speaker. Thank you.
Councillor Kraus.
I think you've noted Councillor Wasserman before me, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Councillor Krauts. No, we think the DA thinks that this motion should serve. Please, Speaker. Thank you.
Councillor Krauts?
Thanks, Speaker. I've handed in this motion, and I think the motion is self-explanatory. Unless, Speaker, you want me to read this motion.
Councillor Wasserman? Your hand is still up?
Sorry, Speaker, I'm taking it down.
No, thank you. Is everyone received the motion?
Yes, Speaker.
Then can we go to the recommendation?
Yes.
Okay. Do we agree that the electricity connection fee in terms of the tariffs list for this be waived for 24 fire victims of White location identified for rebuild as per the attached list for the 2020-21 financial year?
Yes, Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor. So we all agree?
Thanks, Speaker. We all agree.
Thank you.
Yes, we agree.
Yes. Can we now, before we go to the in-committee item, can I give it to the MM to just give us a report on the COVID-19 issues in the municipality, and maybe also a report back on JOC?
Speaker, I did not prepare myself to give you a report. I'm hesitant to do that. What I can do is to prepare a written report and circulate that to councillors and get the latest information. I did not prepare myself in this meeting to provide you with a report, Speaker. I'm sorry.
Speaker Kruger.
MM? Councillor Kraft?
Yeah. Yes, thanks, Speaker. Last week, I think Chief Ops received the minutes of the JOC meeting, and somehow this week it has disappeared. MM, through you, if councillors or even Chief Ops, if it can be a standing arrangement that Chief Ops receive the minutes of the JOC meetings, please, every week. I would just like to say that, Acting MM.
Speaker, now it's in order. I made that arrangement. I'm sorry that it didn't happen this week. I'll follow that up and make sure that it gets distributed.
Thank you, MM. Councillor Levine?
Thank you, Speaker. I'd love to receive a copy, please, as well, because just double check if you did send it to me. But I'd love to receive a copy of that to distribute to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Salase, as your hand is up. And then Councillor, yes, Councillor Salase?
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Thank you very much. Thank you, MM. We are take that you are saying that you are not prepared for the report. But what I want to say, Speaker, this issue of the COVID-19 is very serious, Speaker, because we have one person now pass away in this municipality. I think it's supposed to take it very serious, Speaker. We must lead with the example as a spare of government. To me, I'm still not happy the way things is moving. I understand we are in stage. Speaker?
We can hear you, Councillor Salas.
Yes, Councillor Salas.
All right. I understand, Speaker, that we are in stage 3. But each and every place here in Naisna, if something happened, even it's not passed away person, you understand that place is closed, it's something, it's a matter that is taking place. But here things is going business as usual. I am not happy. I want to put in record the way things is moving. I am not happy, Speaker. To me, we are continue going worse and worse, unless we come up with something we can be clinical. That's what I want to put it in that way as the Council of National Unity Congress. And the people is moving here, the way is what nobody knows who's get it, nobody knows what is really happening. Things is going like business is normal. I don't think the way supposed things is going in this way. We cannot look at when the Pick n Pay is something one person is found that have a disease. Business people close 2 days, the days, stop the money and everything. For us, we're busy with things must going normal when the things is going with. I am not happy. I think we need to make a better something. That's what my concern I want to put as Speaker. I'm not happy the way that the business is usual, where the people is pass away, where the people is chef it, is get the disease COVID-19. We still, as the leadership and the leadership of municipality, we take things like lightly. The answer we say that we are in phase 3, so it's allow us. I don't think suppose we are going in that direction. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Salase. Is there anyone else? May I see your hand is up?
Speaker?
Speaker, thanks. Speaker, I concur with Speaker. I concur with Councillor's concern about the way that we receive information pertaining COVID-19. That's my frustration also, not only as the executive mayor, but as a citizen of this town. Because the information that we receive is coming from the National Health Department. And we are not in a position, for example, to dissect that information, besides telling how many people in Naisna is positive. And therefore, at one stage, the MM wrote an email where he said he can't even confirm whether the said death of one of our workers was related to COVID-19 because he didn't have that information. And I really shared the concerns raised by councillors, because as a municipality, hands are basically cut off when it comes to this information. They will just give you an example and saying Naisna is a hotspot based on that calculations. But we really don't know what is really happening in Naisna. So unless there's not a change in the way that the National Health Department is dealing with these things, I can't see us as a municipality chair to really get into the real information. For example, I've been asked by members of the public, can you tell us how many people in Horn is COVID-19? I said, I don't know, because the information that we receive is quite clear. This is only the number of people positive tested in Naisna, that is how the number of recoveries, that is how many people is still active. And that does not assist. But the one thing, Chair, which I think that we should, and I've already discussed this with the MM, the way that we allow people in the town just to disobey COVID regulations. And I think that for me is a thing that we as a council need to take a serious decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Matika, I see your hand is up.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker?
Councillor Matika?
Speaker?
Yes, Councillor Matika? Can you hear me? Councillor Matika?
continue.
Councillor Matika, I can hear you. Councillor Matika?
Can you hear me now, Speaker?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's a network problem. Speaker, I wanted to check, but through MM, we didn't say that the last time that people must not share open offices, because if you go to there next to the court, those offices there, you'll find that there are people that are sharing offices, 2 in one office or 3 in one office. We didn't make it say that the people must not share offices. Just wanted to check on that. The other issue, Speaker, sometimes I get worried because those other people that have tested positive, that we know of, that is, they have also confirmed. But sometimes you see them walking, roaming around, looking for food. They say they don't have a food. Food has not been delivered to them. I don't know who's supposed to deliver food for them, for those that have tested positive. I know in my area, I know about 3 that have been complaining that since they have tested positive, they've been told to stay at home, but they don't have a food. So what must they do? So sometimes you see them going to buy some food at shops or going to ask some food. And the issue, I know we are not involved, the issue of food parcels, but how do we deal with those who tested positive? What is the program regarding them?
Thank you, Councillor Matika. Councillor Wolmerans? Yes.
Thank you, Chairperson, Chair. We are on COVID-19 now, because I need to ask a question to the acting MM. MM, this morning I've been inundated with questions about the taxis that are now loading to full capacity. I just want to know if the MM can shed some light on that, and if that is the case, because I saw all over the news that some taxi organizations are now campaigning for that, but that according to the lockdown rules, taxis are only supposed to capacitate their taxis with 70% of passengers. If the MM can just give some clarity, please, because I now don't have answers, because apparently on our rank here, these taxis are also loading full capacity of 15 people. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Wolmerans. Councillor Salas, is it an old hand?
Oh, it's the old hand, Speaker. It's the old hand.
Okay, thank you. Acting MM? Councillor Kosana? Okay. Acting MM?
Speaker, no, I don't have any specific information other than what I see on the news. I'm going to ask if the Director of Community Services might have information, but taxis are not allowed to load at 100%. I know that the South African National Taxi Council, Santaco, have threatened that they will get their members to start loading at 100%. I don't know what the situation is in Knysna. Perhaps Evan, the Director of Community Services, can help us with that, Speaker.
Thank you, Acting MM. Director?
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Maybe just to elaborate on the taxi situation is, since the threat has been made by Santaco, I think on Sunday, our traffic officers were specifically alerted to that fact, and they monitor the taxi rank as well as on all the routes if the taxi associations here in Knysna, or operators in Knysna, are adhering to that. And strange enough, they have told our chief traffic officer that they know about the national campaign, but they are not going to do that. They are going to stick to the rules that has been laid down in terms of the regulations. We've been monitoring that. We've got law enforcement and taxi officers at the taxi rank. They're also monitoring and have spot checks on the different routes. And we haven't had incidents where people have exceeded the 70% capacity. I've received complaint this morning, specifically Councillor Wilmerans, thanks for that. And I forwarded it to our traffic department. They came back to say that it might be isolated incidents, but again, they've engaged with the taxi associations, and they indicated that they are keeping to the regulations. But we've got traffic officers monitoring this on a daily basis. Every day they're looking for where people are transgressing the lockdown regulations. So if there are isolated incidents like that, please, we would be more than welcome if people can report it, and then we will make sure that our traffic officers adhere to that, because it's not allowed in terms of the regulations.
Thank you, Director. Councillor Matika, I see your hand is still up.
Thank you, Speaker. Also, since still we're busy on the issue of COVID, I just want to check. The last time the acting MM said that he was still busy in negotiating with Eden, so that we can have more EPWP law enforcement. Because I know in Pito and George, they are still the Eden district. Eden has EPWP law enforcement. So the acting MM, Dr. Gratz, last time he said that he's going to speak with the Eden just to check so if we can have allocations of EWP law enforcement. I think those who could assist us also on the taxi ranks, and those on hotspots, also assist some of the soup kitchens. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Matika. MM, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, Speaker, maybe I can come in here, because it happened prior to Dr. Louis Skeepers came into office. Myself and Dr. Gratz at the time has engaged with the Garden Route District Municipality. They've made an allocation to different municipalities in terms of financing the appointment of temporary law enforcement officers. Now, you would remember previously we got about 15 law enforcement in Knysna. The Garden Route indicated that their budget has also been cut, and we only got 5 people from the Garden Route, and they are only going to start commencing duty from the 1st of August. So we at least got 5 that can assist in our law enforcement initiatives in Knysna.
Yeah, I think what happened to the issue that we applied for money from the province, and then we were told that the money was given to Eden. And then we asked them for money, and then that just disappeared. So I think maybe the acting MM can try again. I'm not sure, but that was the initial thing that the MM wanted to do. The acting MM then applied for funds from province to have more law enforcement for us in Knysna. Councillor Krauts and Councillor Matika, your hands are up.
Thanks, Speaker. Speaker, I would just like to ask Director Community also. From Monday on, schools are phasing in new grades, and we all know that how children are being put into taxis like you can't even call it overload. How that will be monitored, and also the fact that who's going to monitor the social distancing, especially when it comes to these kids, when most of the grades are being phased in on Monday. I just need to know if the municipality have something in place to monitor that.
Thank you, Councillor Kraus. Councillor Matika, is your hand up?
Yes, Speaker. Yeah, Speaker, before we move to the next item, also, I think this is also relevant to the also COVID. I know this week the waste has not been collected, but one of the issues that we're going to face coming next week, still, I can tell you, still the refuse will not be collected in northern areas. There are 2 issues. One, the contract, the EPWP that are working in northern areas, their contract is ended.
So they have not renewed any contract, or no one has yet signed a contract. So we'll also have that problem going next week. So please, I would like to say the community department to please, or whoever, to speed up the issue of EPWP's solid waste in our areas, because contracts has ended, and I know if there is lots of pile of black bags in our areas, if we don't have anyone by next week, we'll have a problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Matika. Acting MM.
Sorry.
Acting MM. Or the Director of Community Service.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Yes, just in terms of the question of Councillor Krauts, is that our law enforcement officers normally assist even at schools and where it's possible, but again, our capacity is fairly limited, so they can only do so much and cover so much. What I know is that the Department of Education, because they also expect a lot of people, or most of the school learners going back to school next week, they have also put measures in place to have assistants at the school that can monitor the social distancing. So we will also just monitor that and make sure that that actually works. But in terms of the transportation of school learners, taxis, whatever, it remains a traffic management issue, and our traffic officers are aware of that, and they will make sure that they monitor that quite closely. Obviously, there will be some practical implications, because we know for a fact that people are transporting as many learners as possible, but we will enforce the regulations specifically in that regard. And just in terms of the refuse collection situation, through what Councillor Matika has said, all the waste management staff that does the traffic regulation, that does the refuse collection, has now been put in quarantine, for some of them for 2 weeks, others for a week, dependent on the close contact. About 4 of the staff have now been referred for testing. So it seems that most of the waste management team will be out of circulation for the next 2 weeks. A couple of them has been cleared already to start working next week, so they will assist in terms of the normal refuse collection. So we will try with the limited resources that we've got available to resume with the refuse collection by at least Monday. We've also submitted now a memo to the acting MM to see how we can get some of those casuals back. But some of those casuals were also in close contact with the person that has, the staff member that have deceased. So some of them are also still in isolation, and all their contracts has ended on the 30th of June, obviously because of the limited funding that was available. But the memo will go to the acting MM by today's time.
Speaker, can I make a follow-up?
Yes, thank you. Yes,
okay,
Councillor.
Yeah, I'm getting worried if the director is going to say that some of those people that were working with John Fanny are also part, might, because they must go for testing. So, and some of them they'll be not there for 2 weeks, and also are having, because they know in northern areas it's only the EPWP workers that are working there with the refuse. So it might say that still we're going to have limited on the permanent one. We're still going to have limited because others might be out for 2 weeks. I also want to check that, remember that early this year, there was a program, solid waste internship, where there were about 50 youth that were doing that internship. Is that internship finished, or what is happening there? So that if it's not finished, we can also try to check with solid waste if we can have those part of those youngsters that were doing internship, if they could also assist us. We could absorb them maybe as EPWP until this for a month, and then use them in our areas. Oh, yeah.
Director?
Yes, thanks for that. Our manager solid waste, in fact, is also pursuing that option. But again, the funding needs to be available, and we're only starting with our new financial year now. But we will make sure that we've got adequate capacity by next week to at least resume with a normal refuse collection schedule.
Thank you, Director. May I see your hand is up? I think you're the last one, so that we can go into the in-committee items now.
Speaker, thank you very much. Speaker, just a general comment, and it's very important that council should take cognizance of this. We as government have a certain responsibility to deal with COVID-19. We should be very careful that we don't exhaust our staff and other sources to assist other national departments in their responsibility towards COVID-19. We already have these problems whereby we expect our staff to go beyond their responsibilities in the municipality and exposing them therefore to come in contact with people and actually get the virus, which in that instance therefore would then jeopardize other services that we're supposed to provide, which is our mandate. So I just want to ask council to be very careful that we don't expect our staff to deal with issues outside our normal responsibility, because it might, in the long term, have a negative impact on our main responsibility in providing service to the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Speaker. Councillor News, you want to say something? Yes, Speaker. I'm already talented about this rubbish. What to call it, rubbish, what? Now, Speaker, there's a sort of scope. There's no other option that we community can do, because there's a lot of rubbish in my ward, and then I send a pic to community service director from community service that is bad in that ward Monday, Tuesday, and then I do a plan myself to talk to the people that must collect that rubbish because it was bad, and then I don't know next week's gonna happen, what's gonna happen again. And then, guys, I think municipality must have a plan. If this one must have a plan B. If you don't have a plan B, why are you? No. I think must have a plan on that. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Skusana.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, my phone battery was low. I needed to charge it, so I was not part of the conversation. But nevertheless, I'm back to the COVID-19, which is happening within our institution, Speaker. I think, Speaker, we need to know that the transmission of this pandemic is very serious and how it spread quickly. And I must say that on record, Speaker, that there are directors or acting directors are taking this pandemic not very serious. And Speaker, customers are coming to our department and we are rendering services to them. There's a reason I'm asking that we have reports of all departments, because in terms of this pandemic and the results, because we don't want to find ourselves that Labor Department comes to an institution and we find ourselves in a corner as an institution which services the community. We can't have departments that say people must come back to work while they are still waiting for their results. It can't be correct. No, Speaker. Life comes first, Speaker. We need to protect our own in all departments. As I've made reference to, like in planning, they had a plan and said some of the staff must work from home, 2 or 3 must come to the video to attend those people who are coming there. That's a plan. How can the supply chain department not have a plan? Cleansing did have a plan. No, Speaker, we can't allow this thing to happen in this department and people to be victimized when they raise questions around this parliament. The MM must look to all departments and protect our staff needed to be protected by us. We are the policymakers in this term. Thank you.
Sorry, Councillor Davis, I see your hand is up, and Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to bring something to the attention of Council. I mean, and as well as the acting MM, we've had 2 cases within the last 2 weeks of at the Sedgefield office. There's no one. There's a security guard at the cashier, but on the other side where the councillors sit and where the other admin staff is, there's no one here. So as a result, we had the lady that works here at the admin desk here. She was harassed twice. In fact, 2 days ago, a gentleman almost, if it wasn't for one of the financial officials that came out from the back to protect her, I came in a bit late. I was still at another appointment. And so if I was there, I could have defended her. But she was highly traumatized. They did put some sanitizer here and some, masks, etc. But we did request that they can have someone here at least, because we get people on a daily basis coming here looking for refuse bags, coming here querying, putting in their complaints. Everything is done here. It's not done at the cashier section. And we've got nothing here at the Sedgefield office, in terms of COVID-19 prevention. And we're actually putting our staff at risk. So I just wanted to bring that up as well, just from our side, if through you, Speaker, that the acting MP can't look into that. I did contact Director Pumla, and she did send someone to come assist with looking at the inventory. And I also spoke to Mr. Langlands to look at how we can get some security here, even maybe using the ladies, the interns from Chrysalis or something, or the gentlemen just to come and assist us here. Some of them are working in Sedgefield. So I just wanted to comment on that. We at this time, especially people walking in and out here, it's very dangerous, and we need some assistance in Sedgefield. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. I think, Acting MM, do you want to say something before we conclude?
Speaker, now I've noted what was said.
Okay.
And the different departments must also take cognizance of it and react where necessary. I've noted. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, MM. Before we go into the green pages, I think we will have to have a 10 minutes break so people can connect onto the link. It's now 2:15. Can we be back at 2:25?
Speaker?
Yes, Maya?
Speaker, I just want to find out who have access to this special link.
Yes. Which link?
The one in committee.
We usually Graham would set that up, but I think it's in this case, I'm not sure if I heard it's going to be Jill that was going to send the link.
Speaker, now we've already received the link. That's what I'm asking. I need to understand who is on this link. Is it only the council, the MM, and the directors? I just want to make clarity. And then I'm asking this, Chair, because a lot of information leak out even before we leave meetings, which I believe it's unfair to those people whose name has been mentioned in meetings.
MM?
Speaker, I'm informed that the only people that have the link and that are allowed into the in-committee meeting are all the councillors, myself, Melanie Paulson, the manager of legal services, Jella Kay, and Carl Matthias. The directors are also not part of that meeting, Speaker.
And I think the chairperson of the audit committee also was part of the
And the chairperson of the audit committee is quite correct, Speaker.
Yes.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Maya. Then we will be back at 2:25.
But that's on another link, so we're going to leave this meeting now, Chair. Speaker? Speaker?
Daar is 'n ander link, Jolene.
Ja,
You
maar ons kan
supposed to have
ons nog
another
even
link. Yeah,
Exit,
this part of the meeting now been adjourned, and then we're going to go into the in-committee meeting.
in committee. Thank you. That was what I'm asking. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.